Really honored to open this Earth Day weekend celebration. It's today, and tomorrow is part two of this celebration. Um, Spirit Rock has had a number of Earth Days and climate days, and I've been fortunate to be a part of most of them. But this one is special. It is the launching of our new climate program. How many people have been aware that there's this climate program that we are just launching? Just a few. So I wanted to share a little bit about that. It is called the EcoDharma and Transformational Culture Program, ETCP. I'm calling it the Spirit Rock Climate Project myself. We've been given a generous grant by the Waverly Street Foundation to create this program for the next 3 years with the possibility of extending beyond for a number of years more. And I'm so happy that I could be a part of it along with a really wonderful core team of committed teachers and staff that are working together to put on this program. And I'll just so I'm clear on clearly stating our mission to create a, this is my words, a heart and wisdom based approach to climate uh, by sharing our Buddhist teachings, the Dharma, and learning from and collaborating with other cultural and indigenous teachings. And we want to support activists and communities on the front line of climate change, as well as inspiring everyone who is looking for inspiration to create a healthier planet by deepening our joy, connection, and love for the earth. And it happened to be one of the stipulations that we were told we need to include joy in there. So I'm all for joy. So I said, okay, I'm in. And we're going to be partnering, we are partnering with a number of climate and justice organizations worldwide. We have a number of things that we've been planning coming down the pike. I'll mention them in a moment, but I want you to know one reason I'm so excited is this has been years in the making as far as those who've been wanting to have more focus on climate uh, in our community and at Spirit Rock. And many teachers have wanted something like this for years, but until now, there really hasn't been the bandwidth or the resources to create more than just the climate days. And some individual teachers have shared, Mark Coleman does his Awake in the Wild, and Tanisara and Conda Mason have done stuff around climate, and others have done. Gil Fronsdale put together the Eco Chaplaincy program, and Mark and Susie have done this Dharma teacher training. Um, so, and Aya Santachita has done a lot of climate work. Carol Cano and Bonnie Duran have brought indigenous wisdom in their teachings, but they've all been individual kind of efforts besides the climate days that we've invited the whole community to. Um, but this is the first time that we've come together to to envision and create and offer a whole series of teachings and trainings over these next years. a number of years ago, actually is 2013, Spirit Rock hosted an international Vipassana teachers conference, which happened every few years. All the teachers, both in Spirit Rock and Insight Meditation Society in Massachusetts, and Gaia House, and some other centers would come together for um, for a connection and conference. And in 2013, Spirit Rock hosted one here, and I helped organize. I was fortunate enough to do that with Catherine McGee and Chris Cullen, and we decided we wanted to have climate uh, on the agenda. Um, And I was very inspired by a friend named Bob Doppelt, who does fabulous work with climate, works with legislators in Congress, and he's an old Dharma friend, and he's written books on the climate crisis and bringing consciousness to it. And I said to him, I've known him from years back. I said, "Oh, it's amazing how wonderful, Bob, that your Dharma practice has come together with your environmental practice, and that you can share them." And he looked at me and he said, "The Dharma holds the key. You you might not realize it, James, but the Dharma holds the key." And I said, I want you to come to that teachers conference. We, Catherine and Chris as well, and share that with the teachers. The Dharma holds the key because it's about a change of consciousness that will be needed. It's not just Buddhist Dharma. Of course, indigenous wisdom is really um, aligned with Buddhist teachings and lots of other cultures. But for our community to see that we have been so fortunate enough to be mm, exposed to a way to understand human place in the larger frame of things, and to have teachings that can elicit compassion and caring and understand cause and effect. I mean, one would think that most people could see what you do now is going to affect generations from now, but that hasn't sunken through to a whole lot of people in our culture. It's starting to, but we've been exposed to these teachings, and the more we can bring our understanding of the teachings to the healing of this planet, or supporting the healing of this planet, which is in such need of our love and our care, then we all become ambassadors by sharing the Dharma and applying it, whether or not you call it Buddha Dharma or just consciousness. Although that's a dirty word now in some areas, but that just awareness in caring, that we can inspire our community and also offer to others who are not exposed to the teachings but care about the planet. From that conference, some beautiful things happened. Gil Fronsdale said, let's have Climate Week the first week in October. And for many years, I don't know if it's still happening now, the first week in October, a lot of people have been focusing on climate and giving teachings at that time. One Earth Sangha, which I am proud to be connected with, a part of. Um, I highly recommend oneearthsangha.org, and we are partnering with One Earth Sangha. Um, really was was supported and I think birthed out of that meeting. And I was wondering, what can I do? And one of the co-founders of One Earth Sangha is a fellow named Lou Leonard, a great inspiration for me. You know Lou Leonard, and he had been the manager of the climate program for World Wildlife Fund. And when I first got the severity of the problem, um, I didn't know what to do, and I went to Lou, and he was visiting here, and it was in the council house up the hill, and I said, Lou, I'm getting it. We're we're in for some serious times. It just really. I read Bill McKibben's book Earth, and that I had known about it and I had Earth in the Balance by Al Gore, and I had awareness of it. But when I read that, perhaps all of you have had your moments of, oh my goodness. And that happened when I read that book, and I needed to do something. And I went to Lou, I saw Lou, and I said, hey, Lou, I get it. We have to do something. I don't know what I can do. All I've been doing is sharing the Dharma and teaching awakening joy. And I wrote a book on that and teach a course in that. Like, what can I really do? And he looked at me and he said, James, joy might be one of the most important things we need to remember. It was a moment that's deep ingrained in me. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that. And that's been my koan for the last 15 years or so. And I'm so glad that our grant says this has to be included, because besides the despair and the worry and the fear and the sense of hopelessness and helplessness that might come, um, you can get stuck there in the grief and that helplessness. But we protect what we love. I think that's the name of today's theme, protecting what we love. And when you are opening to all the blessings and the gratitude and the grace that comes when we tune into how amazing it is to be on this beautiful planet that wants to love us and support us, then we're coming from a whole different place than the fear and the worry. So, what I could do, I'm not a climate expert, but I love bringing people together and saying, you're going to enjoy being with each other. So that's what I've kept on doing, is bringing together. And with the support of a number of people, bringing together. And I want to say that something much bigger is writing this script, because all of the teachers that I mentioned were saying, what can we do? What can we do? And then Jack last year secured a grant from the Waverly Street Foundation to create this robust climate program that will have days like this and retreats. We're putting on a retreat for climate leaders and activists, community members in September. And we have a lecture series, a 10-part lecture series that we've just started that you can join, and a number of other quite exciting programs over the course of these years. And we have this teaching team, Aya Santachita, who you'll meet shortly, and Carol Cano and Bonnie Duran, who will be leading tomorrow's event. They're finishing a retreat up the hill. Mark Coleman, Kirsten Rudestam, Young O, Kristen Barker from One Earth Sangha. She and Lou are the co-founders of One Earth Sangha, and myself. And we have this wonderful staff, Alicia and Christy, who I've mentioned before, and Sean Fight Oaks and Ann Royce. And we get together regularly saying, oh, wow, we can do this, we can create this. And it's been beautiful, you know, when a team is aligned and saying, wow, we have an opportunity here to do something really, really beautiful. And I'm so glad that I could be part of it. And coming together today and on these community gatherings is really so important and a key to it all, because when people come together, there's a kind of magic that happens on all of the Earth days, or most of the Earth days that I've been a part of. People come in, or if it's a climate day, and they come in and they're feeling kind of like weighed down by the concern for the problem. Oh yes, we have this problem, and then we might get into some facts and to really open to the truth of what's here. But by the end of the day, where there's music, which we'll have music today, some really great music, and there's inspiring teachings, and there's connection, which we will have today as well, people leave feeling uplifted. Oh, so great to come together and talk about how much we love this planet. So, community is really the key. And I hope that you walk away, no guarantees, mind you, but that you walk away with that feeling of how good it is to come together and share our mutual care for this planet. And we realize that it's not just about climate. Of course, there are so many different things to be concerned about these days. And we are understanding there's an intersectionality of it all, whether it's climate or social justice or economic inequity or racial injustice, environmental injustice, and justice. But they're all related, and they all have at the heart the problem being greed, hatred, and delusion. You've heard of those three, probably. That's what it comes down to. And the antidote is cultivating non-greed or a generosity of spirit, non-hatred or love, loving kindness. Like the Dalai Lama says, my religion is kindness, non-delusion or clarity and wisdom. That's what it comes down to. That's why we have the medicine